Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm your host, and this video is all about breaking the cycle of negative thinking by implementing the principles of Stoic philosophy. Yeah. So, if you find yourself stuck in a loop of complaining, whether you're grumbling out loud or just to yourself, you've come to the right place. The wisdom of the ancient Stoics has a lot to teach us about how to conquer this habit. Stoic philosophy is all about mastering your emotions, accepting reality as it is, and focusing on what you can control, which could be a game changer for those of us who are prone to negative self-talk and constant complaining. You see, often we don't even realize how much we complain. It's a habit that's deeply ingrained in our daily lives. And it's not just about the occasional grumble about the weather or a bad day at work. It's the constant, internal complaining we do, the negative chatter that goes on inside our heads. This can lead to a cycle of negativity that affects our mood, our relationships, and our outlook on life. In this video, we're going to delve into the world of Stoicism, a philosophy that has been practiced for centuries and is still relevant today. We'll explore how its principles can help us break the cycle of complaining and instead foster resilience, contentment, and a positive mindset. We all have the ability to change our thoughts and actions, and the teachings of Stoic philosophy can guide us in doing so. It's not about eliminating all negative feelings, but rather learning to respond to them in a more constructive way. So, if you're tired, let's dive into understanding the act of complaining, shall we? Now, complaining is something we all do. It's part of being human. It's our way of expressing dissatisfaction, disappointment, or frustration. But too much of it can turn into a toxic cycle, keeping us stuck in negativity. So, before we tackle how to stop complaining, it's crucial to understand why we do it in the first place. You see, there's a certain comfort in complaining. It's a form of venting that gives us temporary relief from our frustrations. We think, if I just let this out, you'll feel better. In a way, it's a defense mechanism against discomfort, a way to seek empathy and validation from others. It's also an attempt to control our environment, albeit indirectly. But here is the catch. Complaining doesn't solve anything. It doesn't change the situation or make it any better. Instead, it keeps us focused on the problem, not the solution. It drains our mental energy, leaving us feeling helpless and stuck. While we may feel a fleeting sense of relief, the cycle of negativity continues, and we find ourselves complaining about the same things over and over again. Now, let's talk about Stoicism. The Stoics believed that we can't control external events. We can only control our reactions to them. So, when we complain, we're basically going against this fundamental principle of Stoicism. We're trying to control the uncontrollable, which only leads to frustration and dissatisfaction. But what if we stopped complaining? What if we chose to accept things as they are, without trying to control or change them? According to Stoic philosophy, this acceptance can lead to peace of mind and a true sense of freedom. Because when we stop complaining, we focus our energy on what we can control. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions. We free ourselves from the cycle of negativity and open up to the possibility of growth and transformation. However, it's not as easy as it sounds. Breaking the cycle of complaining requires self-awareness, discipline, and a deep understanding of our thoughts and emotions. It's a journey that takes time and effort, but it's definitely a journey worth taking. So, are you ready to break the cycle and stop complaining? How do you think your life will change when you stop focusing on the negatives and start embracing acceptance? These are the questions we'll explore in the next part of this video. So, stay tuned for some practical tips and techniques based on Stoic philosophy to help you stop complaining and start living a more peaceful and positive life. Now, let's dive into the world of Stoic philosophy and what it has to say about complaining. Stoicism, a philosophy that originated in ancient Greece, teaches the development of self-control and fortitude as a means to overcome destructive emotions. In the context of our topic, Stoics would consider complaining not just unproductive, but also contrary to the principles of acceptance and resilience they advocate. So, how does Stoicism view the act of complaining? For Stoics, the external world, including all the unpleasant situations we usually complain about, are fundamentally indifferent and neutral. It's our perception and judgment about these indifference that stir negative emotions, leading us to whine and complain. And here lies the critical point. Stoicism encourages us to shift our focus from what we cannot control to what we can, which is our perception, our judgments, and our responses. Epictetus, a notable Stoic philosopher, famously said, "People are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them." In other words, it's not the traffic jam that's frustrating, but your view that it shouldn't exist. It's not your boss criticism that's hurtful, but your belief that you should always be praised. Recognizing this difference is the first step in reducing complaints. Another key Stoic principle is the concept of amor fati, or a love of fate. This means accepting and embracing whatever life throws at you, even if it's negative or challenging. Instead of complaining about a difficult situation, a Stoic would see it as an opportunity to grow and develop. As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." So, how do we put these Stoic principles into practice to help us stop complaining? First, catch yourself when you start to complain. Ask yourself, is this something within my control? If not, recognize that complaining about it won't change the situation. Next, try to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing an obstacle as a problem, view it as a challenge or opportunity for growth. This shift will not only help you stop complaining, but it can also make you more resilient and adaptive in the face of adversity. Lastly, embrace the idea of amor fati. Accept and love whatever happens, because it's part of your unique life journey. Instead of complaining about the rain, appreciate it for its necessity to life. Instead of whining about a delayed flight, use the extra time to read, reflect, or connect with others. In conclusion, Stoicism offers valuable tools to help us stop complaining, even to ourselves. It teaches us to focus on what we can. Let's get right into the strategies you can use to stop complaining. Based on the wisdom of Stoic philosophy, Stoicism, for those who may not know, is a school of Hellenistic philosophy that was founded by Zeno of Citium around the 3rd century BC. Stoics believed in finding inner peace by aligning one's will with the natural laws of the universe and accepting the things we cannot change. So, how does this apply to complaining? Well, the first key strategy suggested by